Hello students, this is Manish and today we are going to talk about a wonderful literary giant known as the Bard of Avon, that is William Shakespeare. आज हम विलियम शेक्सपियर से रिलेटेड MCQs को डिस्कस करेंगे. All these questions are frequently asked in various exams. No need to say that the class is gonna be very useful and enlightening. So without wasting the time, let's begin our today's class. Our first question is, when is English Language Day celebrated? April 23, March 23, May 23 or June 23? Its right answer is April 23. क्योंकि यही वो डेट थी दोस्तों जिसमें विलियम शेक्सपियर 1564 में पैदा भी हुए थे और इसी डेट पर 1616 में उनकी डेथ भी हो गई थी. और इस डे यानी कि 23 अप्रैल को सेंट जॉर्जेस डे के नाम से भी जाना जाता है. इट ब्रिंग्स मी टू आवर सेकेंड क्वेश्चन, वेयर वाज शेक्सपियर बोर्न ऑन April 23? The options are Dublin, Stratford on Avon, Egdon Heath और डेनमार्क. इसका सही आंसर है स्ट्रेटफोर्ड ऑन एवन. यहां पर स्ट्रेटफोर्ड टाउन का नाम है और एवन इज द नेम ऑफ द रिवर ऑन द बैंक ऑफ विच द टाउन इज सिचुएटेड. आइए अब नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पर आ जाते हैं. विलियम शेक्सपियर वॉज द थर्ड चाइल्ड ऑफ, एक तरह से बोलें तो here we are being asked who are Shakespeare's parents. The options given are Joseph Shakespeare and Mary John, William Shakespeare and Mary Arden, John Shakespeare and Mary Arden या फिर Jack Shakespeare and Mary William. Option C is correct. John Shakespeare and Mary Arden. शेक्सपियर के फादर जॉन शेक्सपियर थे who was a successful glove maker और उनकी मदर मैरी आर्डन भी एक affluent land owning family से belong करती थी. Our next question is, at what age did Shakespeare get married to Anne Hathaway? The options are 14, 24, 18 or 16. The answer is 18. एविडेंस के तौर पर नवंबर 1582 को साइन किया गया एक बॉन्ड मिलता है जो क्लियरली शो करता है कि शेक्सपियर वाज 18 एंड द ब्राइड वाज 8 इयर्स सीनियर टू हिम. इसका अर्थ हुआ शेक्सपियर उस समय 18 साल के थे और उनकी वाइफ उनसे 8 साल बड़ी यानी कि 26 साल की थी. नेक्स्ट वन इज, हाउ मेनी चिल्ड्रन did Shakespeare have? 4, 3, 2 or 1? The correct answer is 3. William Shakespeare had 3 children, the eldest Susanna and twins Judith and Hamnet. The only son of Shakespeare, Hamnet, died at the tender age of 11 in 1596. Our next question is, who is known as the Bard of Avon? Ben Jonson, William Shakespeare, John Milton or none of these? The answer is none other than William Shakespeare. Bard का मतलब तो हम जानते ही हैं दोस्तों, a poet, और Avon shows the place Shakespeare was born and buried. Let's talk about next question. Who studied at the Stratford Grammar School where he picked small Latin and less Greek? ये जो वर्ड्स हैं दोस्तों, small Latin and less Greek, ये वो वर्ड्स हैं जिनका प्रयोग शेक्सपियर का क्रिटिसिज्म करने के लिए किया गया था. And the answer to this question is Shakespeare. This one is related to the previous one only. शेक्सपियर का क्रिटिसिज्म करते हुए किसने कहा था शेक्सपियर न्यू स्मॉल लैटिन and less Greek. The options are Jonson, Marlowe, Kyd और none of these. He is the one friends जिसने बाद में शेक्सपियर को not of an age but for all the time कहकर appreciate भी किया था. Now I hope you have reached the correct one. Yes, it is Jonson. अब अगले क्वेश्चन पर आ जाते हैं. It is believed that Shakespeare was found guilty of deer poaching in the garden of William Herbert, Robert Greene, Thomas Lucy or Thomas Thorpe. The correct answer is Thomas Lucy. शेक्सपियर के पहले बायोग्राफर निकोलस रॉय ने अपनी बुक में स्ट्रेटफोर्ड की इस घटना को साझा किया है, जिसके बाद शेक्सपियर को स्ट्रेटफोर्ड से बचकर लंदन भागना पड़ा था और 7 इयर्स तक गुमनामी के अंधेरे में रहना पड़ा था. एंड आवर नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज रिलेटेड टू दिस वन ओनली. स्कॉलर्स रेफर टू द इयर्स बिटवीन दिस एंड 1592 एज शेक्सपियर्स लॉस्ट ईयर्स. फिल इन द ब्लैंक. 1580, 1585, 1590 or none of these. The correct answer is 1585. 1585 से 1592 तक का ये पीरियड था दोस्तों, जिसमें शायद शेक्सपियर was preparing himself for the kind of bright literary career he was going to have in the time to come. It brings me to our 11th question. Who describes William Shakespeare as an upstart crow beautified with our feathers? John Lilly, Robert Greene, George Peele, Christopher Marlowe. The answer is Robert Greene. Robert Greene was a member of University Wits और उन्होंने अपने वर्क A Groat's Worth of Wit में शेक्सपियर पर बहुत सारे सार्केस्टिक और बिटर कमेंट्स किए थे और क्वेश्चन में आया स्टेटमेंट भी उन्हीं बिटर कमेंट्स में से एक था और हमारा अगला क्वेश्चन भी उसी से रिलेटेड है. हु मेड द कमेंट टाइगर्स हार्ट रैप्ड इन अ प्लेयर्स हाइड अबाउट शेक्सपियर? जॉन लिली, रॉबर्ट ग्रीन, जॉर्ज पील, क्रिस्टोफर मार्लो. द आंसर इज रॉबर्ट ग्रीन. ये स्टेटमेंट भी ग्रीन के उसी वर्क से लिया गया है. Here he makes parody of a line from one of Shakespeare's first plays, Henry VI, Part 3, where Shakespeare writes, "O tiger's heart wrapped in a woman's hide." Our next question is, who among the following is not a university wit? John Lilly, William Shakespeare, George Peele, Christopher Marlowe. The correct answer is William Shakespeare. University Wits was the group of playwrights and pamphleteers of late 16th century. They were 7 in number: Christopher Marlowe, Robert Greene and Thomas Nash. These 3 were from Cambridge. John Lilly, Thomas Lodge and George Peele. These 3 belonged to Oxford University. Thomas Kyd, the 7th member of this group, didn't belong to any of these universities. आइए अब अपने अगले क्वेश्चन पे आ जाते हैं. Which work of Shakespeare has been called by Shakespeare as the first heir of my invention? Options are Hero and Lender, The Rape of Lucrece, Venus and Adonis, The Comedy of Errors. The correct one is Venus and Adonis. ये शेक्सपियर की लिखी लॉन्ग नैरेटिव पोएम है. 1593 में पब्लिश होने वाली इस पोएम के स्टार्टिंग में शेक्सपियर हैज रिटन अ ब्रीफ डेडिकेशन टू हिज पेट्रन अर्ल ऑफ साउथहैम्पटन और इसी डेडिकेशन में ही कॉल्स दिस पोएम द फर्स्ट एयर ऑफ माई इन्वेंशन. द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन is also related to the same poem. Shakespeare's Venus and Adonis, an extensively written mythological poem of 1194 lines of verse, is based on a story by Holished, Ovid, Boccaccio or Plutarch? The correct answer is Ovid. Next one is William Shakespeare started his literary career with poems Venus and Adonis and Hero and Lender, The Rape of Lucrece, The Rape of the Lock, The Comedy of Errors. The right answer is The Rape of Lucrece. Shakespeare started his literary career with two poems, Venus and Adonis and The Rape of Lucrece, which became immensely popular. This is the next one. Shakespeare incorporates Livy's account of Tarquin's lust in a narrative work called. The correct answer is The Rape of Lucrece. Let's move to next question. Shakespeare dedicated his youthful poems Venus and Adonis and Lucrece to whom? The options are the Earl of Surrey, the Earl of Surrey, the Earl of Southampton or the Earl of Saxony. So the correct answer is the Earl of Southampton. Our next question. Who said Shakespeare has only heroines and no heroes? Options are John Ruskin, Matthew Arnold, Dr. Jonson or Sidney. The correct one is John Ruskin. Ruskin in his lecture Sesame and Lilies states that Shakespeare has only heroines, no heroes. Othello, Hamlet, Julius Caesar, Merchant and Orlando are all weaker than Desdemona, Cordelia, Isabella, Portia and Rosalind. Let's move to the next one. How many sonnets did Shakespeare compose? 37, 54, 154 or none of these? The correct answer is 154. Shakespeare has written 154 sonnets. Out of them, the first 126 are addressed to a man called Mr. W.H. and the rest of the sonnets are addressed to a woman, Dark Lady. It brings me to question number 21st. What is the rhyme scheme of Shakespearean sonnet? ABBA, ABBA, CDE, CDE, ABAB, CD, EF, GG, ABAB, BC, CD, EE or none of these? The rhyme scheme of Shakespearean sonnet is ABAB, CD, EF, GG. पेट्रार्कन सोनेट की राइम स्कीम होती है ABBA, ABBA, CDE, CDE. And the rhyme scheme of Spenserian sonnet is ABAB, BC, CD, EE. Next one. Who printed a collection of Shakespeare's sonnets in 1609? Thomas Thorpe, John Hemming, Henry Condell, both B and C. The correct answer is Thomas Thorpe. Thomas Thorpe printed a collection of Shakespeare's sonnets in 1609. जब भी शेक्सपियर के वर्क्स को प्रिंट या पब्लिश कराने की बात आती है लर्नर्स, तो हमें ये 4 इयर्स तो याद रखने ही रखने हैं. 1609, 1619, 1623 और 1632. 1609 के बारे में तो हम जान ही चुके हैं कि शेक्सपियर्स सोनेट्स गॉट पब्लिश्ड इन दिस ईयर बाय थॉमस थॉर्पे. और फिर हमें 1619 ईयर भी याद रखना है जिसमें शेक्सपियर के प्लेस का फॉल्स फोलियो आया था. इट वॉज प्रिंटेड बाय विलियम जैगार्ड. 1623 वो ईयर था लर्नर्स जिसमें शेक्सपियर के प्लेस को शेक्सपियर के ही साथी एक्टर्स जॉन हेमिंग्स और हेनरी कॉन्डल ने पब्लिश कराया था. एंड द ईयर 1632 इज एसोसिएटेड with the second folio. The collection of Shakespeare's sonnets that got printed in 1609 is dedicated to Mr. W.H., Dark Lady, Anne Hathaway, or none of these? The correct answer is Mr. W.H. Thomas Thorpe dedicated this volume to a certain Mr. W.H. as being the only begetter of the sonnets. Next one, find the incorrect pair. Sonnet number 29, when in disgrace with fortune and man's eyes. Sonnet 138, when my love swears that she is made of truth. Sonnet 116, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Sonnet 55, not marble nor the gilded monuments. The correct answer is the C1. यहाँ पर हमें सॉनेट्स के नाम दिए हैं और उनकी ओपनिंग लाइंस दी हैं, लेकिन सॉनेट नंबर 116 की ओपनिंग लाइंस हैं लेट मी नॉट टू द मैरिज ऑफ ट्रू माइंड्स. अगर शैल आई कंपेयर दी टू अ समर्स डे की बात करें लर्नर्स, तो इट इज द ओपनिंग लाइन ऑफ शेक्सपियर्स सॉनेट नंबर 18. Which among the following is the last sonnet written by Shakespeare? Options are those lines that I before have writ to die, love is too young to know what conscience is, two loves I have of comfort and despair, the little love God lying once asleep. The last option is the last sonnet written by Shakespeare. So the answer is the little love God lying once asleep. This is Shakespeare's sonnet number 154. Let's come to the next one. Who wrote Shakespeare's sonnet Reconsidered? Samuel Jonson, T.S. Eliot, John Ruskin, Samuel Butler. The answer is Samuel Butler. Samuel Butler ने 1899 में शेक्सपियर्स सॉनेट्स रिकंसिडर्ड नाम की बुक लिखी थी, जिसमें he has given the theory that the sonnets, if rearranged, tell a story about a homosexual affair. Next question, how many plays has Shakespeare written? 45, 37, 154. The answer is 37. ज्यादातर यही माना जाता है लर्नर्स कि शेक्सपियर ने 37 प्लेज लिखे थे. हालांकि कई ऐसे और भी प्लेज हैं जिनकी ऑथेंटिसिटी पर डाउट है. द नेक्स्ट वन इज हु प्रिपेयर्ड द फर्स्ट फोलियो ऑफ शेक्सपियर्स प्लेज? बेन जॉनसन, थॉमस थॉर्प, जॉन हेमिंग्स एंड हेनरी कॉन्डल? नन ऑफ दीज. द राइट आंसर, एज यू ऑल नो, इज जॉन हेमिंग्स एंड हेनरी कॉन्डल. इसकी तो हमने पहले भी बात की थी. फर्स्ट फोलियो of Shakespeare's plays was prepared by Shakespeare's colleague John Hemmings and Henry Condell, and it got published in the year 1623. Let's move to the next question. How many plays did the first folio of Shakespeare's plays contain? 45, 37, 36, none of these. The correct one is 36. Though Shakespeare has written 37 plays, but out of them 36 got published in the first folio of Shakespeare's plays. Next question, which of the following Shakespeare's plays was not published in the first folio? जैसा मैंने आपको बताया लर्नर्स कि टोटल 37 प्लेस थे, लेकिन फर्स्ट फोलियो में 36 ही पब्लिश हुए. नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज कि वो कौन सा वाला प्ले था जो शेक्सपियर के फर्स्ट फोलियो में पब्लिश नहीं हुआ था. द करेक्ट आंसर इज द पेरिक्लीज. इट ब्रिंग्स मी टू आवर क्वेश्चन नंबर 31. हु इज द राइटर ऑफ शेक्सपियरियन ट्रेजेडी written in 1904? Options are Dr. Samuel Jonson, T.S. Eliot, A.C. Bradley, or Matthew Arnold. A.C. Bradley is the correct answer. His full name is Andrew Cecil Bradley. He is best remembered for his works on Shakespeare. Next question is, Bradley in his Shakespearean Tragedy tells us 4 world famous tragedies of Shakespeare. Which among the following does not belong to this group? Antony and Cleopatra, Othello, King Lear, or Macbeth? The right answer is Antony and Cleopatra. The book Shakespearean Tragedy studies in detail 4 tragedies of Shakespeare, namely Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, and Macbeth. Our next question is, which of the following Shakespeare plays follows all 3 unities? वैसे शेक्सपियर के ज्यादातर plays में learners we don't find all the 3 unities being followed, but there is one play in which he tries to follow all the 3 unities, and the options are The Tempest, Othello, As You Like It, or The Pericles. The correct answer is The Tempest. In The Tempest, Shakespeare adheres to what scholars have called the classical unities of time, place, and action. These unities are based on conventions established by writers of classical Greek drama. Our next question is also related to this. And the question is, Shakespeare observes the 3 unities of blank, comma, blank, and blank diligently in The Tempest. The correct answer is time, place, and action. Find the source of Shakespeare's plays. शेक्सपियर जो अपने नाटक लिखता था उसका मटेरियल ज्यादातर कहां से कलेक्ट करता था? The options are the Chronicles, Plutarch's Lives, both of these, or none of these. The correct answer is both of these. The Holished Chronicles served as Shakespeare's source for nearly all of his history plays. And Shakespeare's second most important source was a book by the Roman historian Plutarch titled Lives of the Noble Greeks and Romans. और इसी वाली बुक को थॉमस नॉर्थ ने 1579 में इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट कराया था. That was also an important source material for Shakespeare, who wrote a preface to the First Folio with the poem addressed to the reader. The options are Dr. Samuel Jonson, Ben Jonson, John Milton, or none of these. The correct answer is Ben Jonson. The next question is also related to this. Who called Shakespeare not of an age but for all the time? The options are Dr. Samuel Jonson, Ben Jonson, John Milton, or none of these. The answer is Ben Jonson. He was not of an age but for all time, exclaimed Ben Jonson in his poem To the Memory of My Beloved, the author, Mr. William Shakespeare, one of several dedicatory poems prefacing the great 1623 folio of comedies, histories, and tragedies, the first collected volume of Shakespeare's work. Who states these words for Shakespeare? Soul of the age, the applause, the delight, the wonder of our stage. Options are Dr. Samuel Jonson, Ben Jonson, John Milton, or none of these. The correct answer is Ben Jonson. The same poem which we talked about in the previous question, these lines have been taken from. Let's come to our next question. Ben Jonson called Shakespeare sweet blank of Avon. शेक्सपियर को बेन जॉनसन ने एवन का क्या कहा था? स्वीट स्वान कहा था, स्वीट ब्रदर कहा था, स्वीट क्रो कहा था, या इनमें से कुछ भी नहीं कहा था? द करेक्ट आंसर इज स्वान. Ben Jonson called Shakespeare Sweet Swan of Avon. This line occurs in Ben Jonson's poem To the Memory of My Beloved Mr. William Shakespeare. हमारा अगला क्वेश्चन भी इसी से रिलेटेड है कि इसी पोयम में बेन जॉनसन ने एक फ्रेज का प्रयोग किया है, दैट इज माइटी लाइन. द क्वेश्चन इज वो माइटी लाइन उन्होंने मार्लो की किस चीज के लिए यूज किया है. इट इज मार्लोज फ्री वर्स, मार्लोज ब्लैंक वर्स, मार्लोज हीरोइक कपलेट और नन ऑफ दीज. द करेक्ट आंसर इज blank verse. It brings me to our question number 41. The line, fear no more the heat of the sun nor the furious winter's rays. This line has been repeated several times in Woolf's novel Mrs. Dalloway. From which play are these lines taken? They are from Othello, Hamlet, Cymbeline or King Lear. The correct answer is Cymbeline. Let's move to the next one. Who invented Shakespeare's sister Judith to advance her feminist argument in a room of one's own? The options are Virginia Woolf, George Eliot, Ellen Showalter, none of these. The correct answer is Virginia Woolf. Next one, which play of Shakespeare is regarded as the tragedy of overleaping ambition? It's Macbeth, Hamlet, Cymbeline or King Lear. The correct answer is Macbeth. Macbeth is a play by Shakespeare about what? It's about a homicide, about a suicide, about a blackmailing or about a regicide. The answer is regicide. Regicide is associated with the murder of the king. Which play of Shakespeare opens with the line, when shall we three meet again in thunder, lightning or in rain? Options are Othello, Hamlet, Macbeth or King Lear. The answer is Macbeth. These are the lines spoken by the three witches right at the outset of the play. अब आइए अपने नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पर आ जाते हैं. In which play do we find the line, life is but a walking shadow? It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. The options are As You Like It, King Lear, Macbeth, Twelfth Night. The answer is Macbeth. These words have been uttered by Macbeth in Shakespeare's famous play Macbeth. हमारा अगला क्वेश्चन भी इसी लाइन में आए वर्ड्स से रिलेटेड है. Who has written the novel The Sound and the Fury? The options are Thomas Hardy, William Faulkner, Shakespeare or none of these. The correct answer is William Faulkner. The title of Faulkner's The Sound and the Fury is significant because it is inspired by Macbeth's speech in Act 5, Scene 5 of Macbeth. He describes life full of sound and fury, signifying nothing, meaning that life is meaningless and nothing but a shadow of what is real. Makbool is a movie based on which of the following plays of Shakespeare? The options are Merchant of Venice, Macbeth, Much Ado About Nothing or none of these. The correct answer is Macbeth. It brings me to our next question. Who has written the essay on the knocking at the gate in Macbeth? Thomas Hardy, William Faulkner, Shakespeare, Thomas D. Quincy. The correct answer is Thomas D. Quincy. Our 50th question is, if it were done, when it is done, then it were done. It were done quickly. Who spoke these words? It's Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, Othello, or none of these? The correct answer is Macbeth. So begins one of the most famous and revealing soliloquies in William Shakespeare's Macbeth. The words spoken by Macbeth himself as he considers whether he can go through with the murder of Duncan. So here I wind up the first part on the MCQs of William Shakespeare. ये वीडियो आपको कैसा लगा? That you can write in the comment box, and I'll come back very soon with the second part of MCQs on William Shakespeare. So till then, stay home, stay safe.